Okay, this is installment 2 on our morning walk on the 10th. We're up on the road now. There's my Magic. He's the only one who has tags. So if you hear the rattling of tags, that's Magic. And this is me, Macho John Madden. We took 2 very long walks down this road, our first 2 full days here. And then Easter, I laid low. My legs were beat from several hours of walking each day. It's my wish to push further on into those mountains which you cannot see. The second long walk, I got barely into them. And buried in there somewhere is the Los Troncones Parque Ecologico, where between March 16 and 18, Magic and I, and at that point our puppy, Pepe, who's no longer with us, had 48 very magical hours. And those videos are all up on YouTube. I think maybe 11 videos. And it shows me getting higher and higher and higher. And once my car gets back on the road, Josue says we're only a 5-minute drive from there. So I can get back in there again. Around here they just refer to them as Los Troncones. I thought it just referred to the park, but the folks around here describe this section of the mountains that way, much the same way back in the western North Carolina, the Appalachian Mountains. The Smokies, the Appalachian chain, at one point would be called the Smokies by the big national park, which we did visit, barely. And then it'd be the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Black Mountains. So around here they call them Los Troncones, but it's actually the Sierra Madre Oriental, which people around here don't seem to even recognize that name. They don't have the big picture that this is the mountain range in the eastern part of Mexico that runs from north to south, and on the west part of Mexico, the even higher range is the Sierra Madre Occidental, the western. So I left off winter, Christmas of 20, and we went into the Spruce Pine Inn, which turned out to be quite a magical place. One of the housekeepers there was an artist and had painted beautiful murals in each room and decorated the end table and other stuff to match. It was really quite magical. And after a week there, I think it was January 2 of 21, we went to Becky's place. I had responded to a real estate notice in Spruce Pine about a house that was for sale, and I thought maybe I could rent because it was empty. She got back to me. We had quite an amazing visit, our one visit before we moved in Spruce Pine, the Doe River, and on the, we were on the North Carolina side, so I think they were still calling it the Tow River. On the Tennessee side, they call it the Doe River. A spectacular pedestrian bridge, 100 feet above the river, above the railroad trains that roared through there. I got a great video of the railroad trains. Becky and I, that the one meeting we had was in the park right next to that pedestrian bridge. And I said to myself afterwards, she's a really great, interesting person. Horse person, used to teach horseback riding out there at her place, which is on top of a mountain outside of here, and I'm not going to give the details of where, but it was west of the town of Spruce Pine, and she had over 500 acres at the top of the mountain. She owned actually the mountain behind it too, I think. Her father had been kind of a pioneer out there back in the 50s, had taken a log cabin and turned it into a grand house, which we never got to see. COVID precautions, she was beyond careful. Did not want me to touch her 2 dogs for fear that would spread COVID. And had a boyfriend that she visited a couple times a week, but was not touching him during the COVID. She was a very traumatized person. We stayed in the walk-in basement apartment, which was quite nice. We got a whole lot of videos in there. And I thought that my image was that they had lived a really sweet, comfortable, prosperous life out there. But she revealed to me she was a deep introvert, and her communications with me would be long text messages after we had had an encounter, in which she divulged, no, the four of them, mother, father, very severe religious guy who wanted to have a camp out there for children, which scares me because he was a fire and brimstone guy. I don't think that ever happened. And that the four of them, with her older brother, who sounds like a case, had lived in that little room for 10 years. And my sex abuse memories got really active in that room. Mouth likes to chase everything. None of the other dogs really do. So I said to her one day, because after lots of confiding to me, she obviously started to feel overexposed and shut me down entirely, started pretending I wasn't there, would not talk to me. So I just said to her one day, bad things happened to you in that room. She said, that's history. Doesn't matter anymore. And I said, yes, it does, because you are living with that trauma every day. So it was like a mythic encounter with the forces of trauma and suppression, and she turned into a very dark person who scared me, and she was obviously scared of me. But being indoors for 2 months, and it's just 2 months because I had to get out of there, a whole lot of very interesting interior things happened. I launched my blog, started writing, finally started getting some of my videos online where they could still exist if I died. And I almost did die. I got a whale of a case of the COVID from getting an acupuncture session in Spruce Pine with a woman who was a COVID denier. And I got really sick after that hour in her treatment room, getting my skin punctured by someone who wouldn't wear a mask. I almost died. I've got a whole series of videos of me every day of 14 days showing how incredibly sick I got. One video shows me spending 5 minutes walking from my little bedroom area up to the kitchen. I was that sick. But every afternoon, because my physical vitality had... Hey, would you shut up, please? I'm talking here. Oh, God. Hey, mouth, please, thank you. So, yeah, every day, and every day my physical vitality would come back in the afternoon. I'd go for long walks, I'd feel like it was over, and then that night would get sicker than ever. And I got so sick that I made arrangements for friends from Asheville to come out and pick up Pancho. I signed the title of my car over to Becky, but somehow I managed not to die. I got some great dance videos from there too, because when I was strong I would dance. Really an amazing encounter with nature, 555 acres, coyotes. She had horses. She said, stay away from the horses. They don't like anybody but me. They all loved me, and she hated me for that. Gorgeous videos of the property. And we're about out of time. Mouth. These guys are okay. Stop. These guys are okay. There's no problem there. Okay, folks. Here we are. I think that's as far as I'm going to go today. My legs still are kind of beat today. I think it's meant to be an interior time here. Not in a walk-in basement apartment, but in our camper van, broken down in Josue's shop. Bye.